My family has never been what you'd call close, but we've always had this strange sense of loyalty that kept us orbiting around one another. I grew up the middle child between my older brother, Mark, and my younger sister, Anna. Our dad left when I was 10, and since then, my mom kind of became the son we all revolved around, whether we wanted to or not. She wasn't always the easiest person to love. She had this way of making everything dramatic and heavy, but she also worked 2 jobs and somehow kept the lights on, so I never questioned her motives much. I just accepted that this was what family looked like for us. Messy, loud, guilt-ridden, but still ours. About a year ago, my brother got really sick. His kidneys had been failing slowly for years, something I didn't realize until it got bad. I remember when Mom called me, her voice already cracked from crying, and said, "He's in stage 4. If he doesn't get a transplant soon, he's going to die." I froze. I was at work, sitting in a conference room pretending to listen to a coworker, and suddenly all I could hear was my mother's broken sobs. She said the doctors told them it might take years for a donor to show up, unless someone in the family stepped up. And since I'm his full sibling, I was the best chance. At first, I felt this heavy, almost automatic yes settle in my chest. Mark and I weren't best friends, but he was my brother. He used to carry me on his shoulders when I was little, and he taught me how to drive his old beat-up Honda. He was the one who stuck up for me when some kid shoved me in middle school. Even though we hadn't been as close in adulthood, I loved him. So when Mom asked if I'd get tested, I said yes. Going through the compatibility tests was nerve-wracking. I try not to overthink it, but every time I sat in a clinic waiting room, I picture myself on an operating table, giving a literal piece of myself away. I pushed those thoughts down because the bigger picture was clear. If I could save him, I should. Mom called me every other day during this time, always crying, always reminding me of how much she loved me, how grateful she was, how Mark wouldn't survive without me. She'd say things like, "You're the only one who can keep this family together," or, "You're his miracle." It was a lot, but I figured that's just how moms are when their kid is dying. Then one evening, everything cracked open. I was at Mom's house because she'd asked me to help her figure out her new tablet. She's not good with tech, so I was setting up her email and showing her how to download apps. At one point, she left the room to grab something from the kitchen, and while I was waiting, a notification popped up. It was a message preview from some group chat labeled Family Planning. Normally, I wouldn't snoop, but my name was literally in the preview, and curiosity got the better of me. I tapped it, and what I saw made my stomach drop. The chat wasn't with Mark or Anna. It was with some extended relatives I barely knew, an aunt, a cousin, and a woman whose name I didn't recognize. And they were talking about me. The most recent message from my aunt said, "Does she know she's just the backup plan?" And my mom had replied, "No, she thinks it's her." I had to cry to keep her on board, but the doctors already cleared Anna. She's the match. We just can't tell her yet because she'd back out if she knew. I just sat there staring at the screen, my whole body going cold. Backup plan. She had called me the backup plan. And the part that twisted the knife was that Anna, my little sister, was apparently a match too. All this time, I had been carrying the weight of possibly giving up a kidney, of rearranging my entire life for recovery, of being the savior of the family, and it was all theater. Mom had been crying to me, begging me, saying Mark would die without me, when she knew full well Anna was already lined up. When she walked back into the room, I shut the tablet and just sat there in silence. I felt like if I opened my mouth, I'd scream. She didn't notice at first, just kept talking about how confusing technology is. I mumbled an excuse and left. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every phone call, every guilt trip, every tearful plea in my head. It wasn't just about the kidney anymore. It was about realizing my mother had manipulated me, used my love for my brother against me, all while hiding the truth. The next day, I confronted her. I told her I saw the messages. At first, she tried to deny it, then she pivoted to anger. She said I had no right to look at her private conversations. I told her she had no right to play with my body and my life like it was a chess piece. Finally, she broke down again, this time admitting that yes, Anna was the match, but she didn't trust Anna to follow through. She thought I was the reliable one, the one she could pressure into doing it without question. Hearing that broke something in me. I wasn't a daughter to her in that moment. I was a tool, a spare part. And the worst part was I believed her when she said she thought Anna might back out. Because Anna has always been a bit of a free spirit, less reliable, and Mom knows exactly how to pull strings with me. I told her I was done. I told her I wouldn't be tested anymore, and that if she wanted to beg someone, she should beg Anna directly. She screamed at me, called me selfish, said I was sentencing my brother to death. But the thing is, it's not true. Anna is there. Anna is a match. And if Anna says no, that's Anna's choice. It's not mine to carry for the rest of my life. It's been months now since that day, and my relationship with Mom has never recovered. She sends me guilt-laden messages sometimes, but I barely respond. Mark doesn't know the whole story, and I can't bring myself to tell him. Part of me wants to scream it at him, to let him know what Mom did, but another part of me doesn't want to add to his burden while he's sick. I love him too much for that. I feel so torn. I hate that my mom put me in this position, that she made me question my own worth and my place in this family. I hate that every memory of her crying now feels like a performance. And I hate that the first thought I have when I look at her is, "You lied to me." But most of all, I feel relief. Relief that I trusted my gut when I walked away. Relief that I didn't let myself get swallowed up by her manipulation. Relief that for once, I said no, even though it meant shattering the image of the reliable one she had boxed me into my whole life. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if I'll ever feel close to my mom again. I don't know if Mark will survive long enough to get Anna's kidney, or if fate will throw another curveball. But I do know this. I'm not just a backup plan. I'm not just a body to be used. I'm a person, and for the first time in my life, I chose myself. And God, that has to count for something.